Well, hello, Andrew.
Funny seeing you here. It's been so long since we last sat down and did one of these.
I know, even though technically this one will come out first, but whatever.
Let's scrap that.
We'll scrap that. It's just like, well, Andrew, today is Friday the 13th in October, so I thought it would only be fitting for us to sit down and talk about a Friday the 13th movie, or a movie, I should say, more so in the category of 13th, and that would be 13th Ghosts. On this episode of Spotlight. 13th Ghosts.
13th Ghosts.
The 13th Ghost.
13th Ghosts.
I should just call it 13th Ghosts.
13th Ghosts. Yeah, that's a better title. I think it fits the movie better.
Well, as I was in my subversion, terrible opening there, I said, you know, I was going to plan on doing a Friday the 13th movie. I already talked about Jason X with Cade like 2.5 years ago. And I was just like, what else is to even say? Because they're all special effects and then no story. So it's really just saying, I like this special effect. I like this special effect. I like this special effect. And I was like,
not
for
a lot
Spotlight,
to break down.
Yeah, I was like, for a Spotlight, not too fun. Then my sister was like, well, why don't we talk about why don't you talk about one that nobody talks about, like the remake? And I thought that was a good idea. And I rewatched the remake. And once again, I was like, there's just nothing to talk about. Once again, it's fun. I mean, I actually enjoy that remake to some degree. But once again, we could talk about maybe for 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. However, thinking, I was like, well, it should be 13. I was like 13 Ghosts or 13th Ghosts.
Ghosts.
Ghosts. Yes, both. I just thought, I was just like, you know, the thing about 13 Ghosts is that although stupid, it is so interesting of a movie. And I was like,
it's got lots going for it.
Yeah, it's got tons going for it. And I was like, let's shine some light on this one. Scream Factory a few years ago put out this amazing Blu-ray transfer of it. I was just like, prestigious, probably the best it'll ever look unless they do a 4K. So I was like, let's sit down and dive into it a little bit.
Can you imagine a 4K of 13th Ghosts?
Not only could I imagine a 4K of 13th Ghosts, but I could see it in my collection. Like, as long as it's not like $80. But one thing I'll mention really quick before we even jump into the movie is the poster is like so nostalgic to me.
Like, oh my gosh, yeah.
God damn, like this.
Looking at that poster,
it's like I remember seeing that in theaters and everything like that. And I always wanted to see this movie. This is a 2001 movie. And one thing you and I can relate to is that when you saw the trailers and everything, this movie as a kid, scared the shit out of us. We're like, whoa, this looks so intense and so terrifying. On rewatch,
not at all.
22 years later, not even close. I'd actually say it's the exact opposite effect. It's more funny than anything, but it still, in my opinion, is impressive on those effects. I think like the Stan Winston did the effects for the movie.
Hello everyone. At this moment in time, I would like to inform you that the information that has been provided to you in this educational video about 13th Ghosts is incorrect. Stan Winston was not the special effects artist that worked on the film. However, it was another Academy Award-winning effect guru known by Howard Berger, or Berger, or whatever. This man co-founded K&B EFX groups, along with Greg Nicotero and Robert Kurtzman, who have gone on to do great things, such as whatever. 13 Ghosts has amazing special effects, and this man's name needs to be credited. That is all. You for making me do this.
Who the fuck is Thir13enth? And I still believe that all the ghosts look really great.
Oh, the kills were really well done.
And I think the kills are super creative. And the one thing that like watching it that I love so much is that it has this unique voice to it. Unlike the Friday the 13th movies, which is so difficult to talk about because they're all like the same thing basically.
Yeah, it's like look at this machete kill.
Yeah,
look at this
exactly.
machete kill.
Look, Jason does this, he does that. It's just like, which is fine. I like those movies. That's why I bought a $200 box set of them. But it was like for 13th Ghost, I love that it has this own like personality to it. I love that it's a remake of the 1960s Vincent Price movie, which is just like a generic haunted house movie. And this one, they're like, okay, whoa, let's try something different. Let's take this mechanical engineered house. Let's have it be like a prison for ghosts. Let's have each ghost have their own little mythology.
The firstborn son. The torso. The bound woman.
And then let's have some sort of random plot about, you know, an estranged uncle or whatever, giving him his mansion and shit like that. And then all these kids go there. And then that's your movie. Like, that's the movie. It's so bare bones, but it's just like a setup for spooky times. And
it's from that era, I'll say, of like I want to call it like the Final Destination era.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like these really creative, wacky kind of deaths were
over the top.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was kind of cool seeing that influence in a different
different
property.
Way. Yeah.
Also, we talked about this. It was also from the era where it was like, we're doing a horror movie. What popular rap icon?
Yeah.
Not even icon. What semi-popular rapper can we get to act in this?
Yeah. What is a person that will draw the kids to it? You know what I mean? Which is so weird because it's an 18A movie. Like, it's rated R. So it's just kind of, it's weird. But they did that. I mean, yeah, you have this one with I don't know her name. I'll put it up here, but she sings the ending song Mirror Mirror, which is, I don't know. I'll get hit probably for copyright, but if you want, I'm able to put like up for 2 seconds. It's probably the greatest song ever written, I think.
It go like any given day, I can take 50 grand, snatch her out of school and head to Disneyland, or maybe just Toys R Us and the mall.
It's clearly a standout, but they also did it with like Busta Rhymes and Halloween Resurrection.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
Halloween H20 had LL Cool J.
Voluptuous, round, melon breasts.
So it's like they were just, it's so random.
Do you guys think I should get a nose job?
Got your nose!
And of course, Leprechaun in the Hood with Ice-T.
Ice-T, yeah.
Absolute masterpiece, which is Leprechaun in the Hood.
All right, Academy.
Yeah.
Where's the Oscar?
Yeah.
For Leprechaun.
Yeah. Come on.
Is it Back to the Hood that he's in, or in the Hood?
He's in it's in the Hood. I don't think he's in Back to the Hood.
In the Hood.
Yeah, in the Hood. Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Such a prestigious title. I can't believe I was too mistaken.
How could the Academy overlook such a masterpiece?
That's the bomb right there. The bomb? Ah, the bomb. A friend with weed is a friend indeed.
But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. It's got the actor who played Monk, of course. He's
Adrian something?
I forgot his name. Let's see. It should be in here. It's Tony Salhob, something like that. Anyway, we'll call him Tony because we know him personally.
Yeah.
Tony,
our good buddy Tony.
Yeah, Tony's really great in the movie. He's good in like everything though. Like,
it's funny you brought up Monk. When I see him, I always think of him as Minion.
Oh,
from Spy Kids.
Yeah. He's Minion. Oh, he's also Exploding Headman in Mission Impossible, Men in Black. He's like the alien that gets his head blown off. I swear to God, that's him. No, it is. It is him. So he's there. And I was just recently at work. I was watching. Yeah, I know at work I was watching, but I was watching The X-Files. And he's in a great episode in season 1 or 2 called Soft Light, where his shadow is like killing people. It's an amazing episode. He's so good in it. So like just a wonderful actor. And that's the weird thing is like they got good actors in this movie. You have Tony, you have F. Murray Abraham,
Matthew Lillard,
and of course
the standout
of Matthew Lillard, who we're just gonna talk about Matthew Lillard for a bit because I think this is long overdue for us. Matthew Lillard is one of the greatest performers in history, and I'm not saying that it's just sarcastically. He has such a unique way of delivering his lines. He has such a unique way of just the moment you cast him, that performance is his own. You know what I mean? Like there's like thinking about somebody replacing him in that role for a remake would be really difficult because they're like, well, we'd have to completely change the character because he's so unique. It's the same thing. It's in this movie.
Arthur, I used to hunt ghosts with your Uncle Cyrus.
Goats?
Ghosts! Ghosts, goddammit, listen to me!
It's in Hackers.
Belushi, all great artists that are fixated on their own vomit. You can't get this in stores, man.
The one I introduced you to, SLC Punk.
And SLC Punk.
I think that's like one of the peak of his.
That's like
it's different than a lot of the
awards.
other things he's done.
He moved from New York City, the mecca and hub of the cultural world, to Utah. Nowhere. Your movement of the people, by the people, and for the people got you nothing. I am the future. I am the future of this great nation. But for the first time in my life, I'm 18 and I can say, you!
I didn't sell out, son. I bought in. Keep that in mind.
I think that's why it's such a standout.
Yes, exactly. That's a recommendation.
Definitely, certainly an underrated
Yeah.
actor, I would say.
I agree. I think he should have been nominated for an Emmy in his like quick, almost like guest appearance in Twin Peaks: The Return. He's truly amazing in that. He's just a confused man who has no idea what the hell's going on. He's like breaking down. So good.
I had a dream that night that I was in her apartment.
Your fingerprints are there.
No, I swear to you, I wasn't there. I swear to you, it was a dream.
And I would like to see him get a resurgence in his career and do more things.
He was in that show that was somewhat popular in the first couple seasons on Netflix.
Yeah. Was that the one that was called like Good Girls?
Good Girls, yeah.
Good Girls?
Yeah. The first season was okay, and then it went off the rails or whatever. But
I hadn't
regardless,
seen that one. You know, I know. And now
he showed some range too because he played the husband who couldn't, like, he was like an ineffectual husband, and that he like supposed to be the breadwinner, can't. Yeah. And so his wife has to do crime to support their family.
Okay.
And their dynamic and his response to that is like there's lots of layers, and it was very well done.
He can play straight. I mean, he even showed that he could play straight without a paddle. Like he's playing a pretty straight comedy role there, but still like so good in the role. So I love him. And we looked it up to see if he was in anything. He's going to be the new Five Nights at Freddy's movie as like, I guess, like the manager of the pizza place. And I'm like, I really hope he shows up more than like 5 seconds. I would like to see him at least have enough so that he could like showcase himself so that he can get more work.
As the manager, I'm assuming, again, totally assuming.
Yeah, we don't know.
But that's like, if you've played the game.
Yeah.
The manager, and Francois, give me a thumbs up if I'm correct on this. The manager is the one who's giving you your briefing at the beginning when he's like, all right, so you're the night guard. Like you gotta, this is what you got. Like the whole, like the entire context of the game is just from the manager's phone call. So it could be a somewhat significant role in the film.
Movie? Maybe, hopefully. Yeah. I mean, like if he gets to have a really great monologue, because if he's going to be like exposition man, that gives you like, this is the one thing is like normally exposition man would be bad, but he has so much personality that it could be really great. So actually a good choice in my opinion then to get him. And then Stan Winston's also doing the effects on Five Nights at Freddy's, which he did as well on this movie, circling back. I think that like the scenes where they're in that kind of like underground, I don't know, it's almost like a modern day or 2000s take on like a cellar in a way with all those writing glass and everything like that. The scenes where he's like running around at Matthew Lillard and he's like screaming and shouting. I love it. It's just like he's like puking. I love his over the top acting when because he's a medium, he's a psychic in the movie, and he can like feel all the pain that these ghosts have done, because all these ghosts are like murderous monsters and stuff for like one, you know, and it's just like
they're either murderous monsters or like have suffered in some
horrible way.
Don't touch me.
But there's like crazy still. The only one that is not is the wife, the ghost of Tony's wife and everything.
Yeah.
The only one that was actually found out to be intentionally, she was murdered essentially so that basically the whole plot of the movie is they F. Murray Abraham brought his nephew to his mansion, faked his own death so that he could sacrifice himself and become the 13th ghost
that he needs for some ritual
to become
achieve
immortality. I can't even remember.
Making of a certain machine, one that can see into the future. He wrote it while he was under demonic possession. I can't believe Cyrus built it.
Built what? What are you talking about?
Basilius's device. We're in the middle of a machine designed by the devil and powered by the dead.
It's really charming, and you get like all these really fun actors in it. You have, of course, the actress who was in Matilda. She played Miss Honey.
I know it was really weird seeing Miss Honey in a movie of ghosts and like that turn where spoiler alert if you give a shit.
Yeah, for a 22-year-old movie.
The turn where you think that she's this activist against whatever his name is.
She wants to like free the ghost and not have him like achieve whatever the that's what you're led to believe.
Cyrus had a nasty habit of enslaving souls. That's why I'm here. I intend to set them all free.
And then there's the turn where we reveal that he faked his death, and they start making out. And in my head, the thought was, Miss Honey, no.
Yeah, I know, right?
What are you doing?
It's like that childhood of you. You're just like, no, why would you do that, Miss Honey? And then like immediately betrays her. I think like once again showcasing like just some good actors, maybe not in the best movie, but it's like her performance is really fun when she kind of goes from being like, I don't know, tough like leading woman to like kind of I'm gonna save the day to being almost like a puppy dog.
I did what you said.
I did what you said, Master. Did I do good? Or you're not mad at me, are you?
Of course not.
You know, like all that stuff was really I liked that
turn was
I liked it. I was like, I love this. Once again, I love the mythology of it. I love the exposition of her explaining things. Matthew, I love that they have to put on glasses to see the ghosts. Like all this shit
3D glasses to see the ghosts was an interesting touch.
You would almost think that the movie was actually filmed in 3D or something like that because of just how, once again, stylistic it is.
You actually had to wear glasses.
Bill Castle to the eye doctor one day, and they had that, it was new, that kind of goofy thing that you put on where they kept turning the lenses, and they said, wow, what if you could see ghosts through those things, So that's where the idea came from. You only could see the ghosts if you wore special glasses, and of course Bill Castle took that, to its logical, or illogical extension, and he actually had three-dimensional glasses in the theater.
The audience would wear 3D glasses to see the spirits.
They're there. This thing just stirs them up. That's the best kind of ghost story.
Which we've actually incorporated into the movie rather than giving viewers to see what's going on.
In this version, the characters in the movie actually have to don these special glasses in order to be able to see the spirit world and what's going on there.
Is it too scary? I mean, it's really scary.
You just assume that it's not too hard to call it 3D ghosts or some shit like that. So it is really funny that they were able to get like some pretty great talent in the movie.
Well, I think like where the strength or the thing that's like sets this apart from other
of its
mediocre horror movies of the era is for sure the production design.
Yeah,
I guess kind of the world building, but more the production design.
Yeah. What fills the world?
What horror movies do we see nowadays? Really, none of them. Where this isn't a jab at modern horror, more so just interesting that era you could make a horror movie that was so stylistic and like this crazy set of this house with these
wild
with the
moving
and the
engineering nightmare crap. It's like holy. And that's what they did with these movies, House on Haunted Hill remake and Ghost Ship and House of Wax.
Like the action horror.
Yes, where it was like horror movies were kind of dead. They weren't really making them, and I don't know why. I doubt it's because they weren't popular. Like horror movies always make money. I think it was just a turn of the tide. I think Spielberg was so popular in the 90s and 80s and 70s, that they're just like, well, let's just keep making action movies. So it's like weird. You get like horror action films. That's why you have this wild, bombastic, like car junkyard scene that's crazy. It feels like the beginning of an action movie. It doesn't feel like a horror movie. They're trying to get the Juggernaut ghost, and cars are flying away everywhere, and like 12 people get like just ripped to shreds. They're spraying blood all over the goddamn place, and then they lock him in one of those cages, and it's like this huge cage, and then he just starts really smashing somebody in there, and then so it's weird. You get like this action movie opening with the gore of a horror movie. The whole thing really reminded me of the opening of The Mummy Returns, where they're like bringing Imhotep out of his cocoon thing, you know, really just like that high-end like action adventure, but it's a horror movie. So bizarre, but so interesting at the same time. And yeah, once again, I would say one thing that like Stan Winston's team, they just did an amazing job, because every one of these fucking ghosts, it's like they're burnt into my brain. And the big one that we should talk about is the Jackal.
Ryan Q, the man who became the Jackal, was born in 1887 to a prostitute.
I remember being 9 or 10 years old when I saw this movie, not in theaters, but I remember I begged my dad to rent it. And we watched it. We just he just built the theater room in our basement.
Yeah.
And it was like in like our own little projected movie theater room.
Yeah.
And we're watching it. I remember seeing that ghost and my little brain just being just terrified. Fully, like I had nightmares for weeks and months of this fucking thing. And even seeing it now, even though nothing really like was all that scary,
It's not scary at all.
there was a moment where my brain was like, I've seen this motherfucker before, like in my burned into my
almost like a
psyche.
PTSD
Almost,
kind of like brought back repressed memory. It's the same way. It's like I remember watching the trailer of this movie. I don't know what I was seeing in theaters, but they played this trailer, and I was only 8, so I was in the theater. They showed it, and it shows the Jackal. That scene where like the one guy's like crawling away, or they're dragging the daughter. Sorry, played by I can't remember her name, Shannon something. She's in Scary Movie and American Pie, but they're dragging her away, and then he's like chasing after her. He's like scratching her and freaking out. And I remember seeing that in the trailer and thinking it looked so fucking scary, you know. And then and like watching it now, it's not scary. It's just kind of funny. It's fun and charming. So it's like
it's more up if anything.
It's kind of just like what a weird thing that could happen, I guess. I love his look though. Like he's got the straitjacket that's ripped apart, and he's got the old timey like 18th century crazy
Lecter
man cage.
Yeah,
it was like the cages they used to put, so like I believe it was like they couldn't like claw at their faces, or they couldn't attack you and stuff like that, like eat you.
Still fighting to free himself, Ryan gnawed through his straitjacket until the doctors finally locked his head in a cage and sealed him away in a dark basement cell.
I mean, in reality, it's like now he's got a heavy metal cage, just attack you with the heavy cage and,
just start beating you with that. Even if it's like you've given me a weapon, even though I'm in a straitjacket now, and just start bashing your head in.
Yeah.
Why would you ever give such a weapon to these crazy people? But you can forgive them for the
Whatever.
18th century medieval shit.
Stylistically, it looks really f***ed up
when trying to
spooky.
figure out what your ghost should look like. I mean, they're the title of the movie, right? What should they look like?
Grotesque and f***ed up,
Fucking
and they
crazy.
achieved it. Like
they did
every
a
single
great
one.
job, you know,
Yeah.
like the dying mother and the giant child. He's like fat and he's got the puke on his bib. That's gross. And then you have like the one girl in like the old like witch era or like medieval era, like
stalks?
she's in
Stockade.
that. You have like there's just so much. Even the mom, even though she's a burn victim, the burn effect is just so stark.
It's
it looks
very grotesque.
looks
Yeah.
good. It looks kind of it's well done. It doesn't look like later Freddy where it just looked like plastic. It looks like it's kind of gooey, like a real burn victim. And I was like, that looks good. Like
Looks like exposed muscle.
Yeah,
on the face.
yeah. And I was like, that looks all good. And then they still try. They hired a good actress to do that role, even though she's basically just all appearance, because she's still, even though having this horrific look to her, comes off very sweet and wholesome. They have
Yeah,
her
very
white. You know, she's in her hospital gown. They did a good job, designing that.
Even though he's very briefly in it, the kid who plays the ghost, who's like dressed like
oh yeah, the Indian, he's got the arrow on his head. Yeah, that looked good too. Like all that stuff looked great. Oh, the princess, you know, that's a famous one because she's just completely naked and she has all these cuts on her. And that's a wild thing too, because it's like you think censor boards back in 2001 would have been like, oh, sex and violence, no, but they allowed it. So it's pretty wild. But that's a stark image and scene as well, where she's like
in the bathtub.
Yeah. There's blood everywhere, and it's all glass and white, so it's like really pumps out. Love stuff like that. So even though like these movies, they're not scary and they're horror films. It's just like they have such a personality and charm to them.
Yeah,
that
visually very interesting visually.
Wonderful background movies. This is the kind of
we had that conversation.
Wonderful background movie. If you were at a party and somebody throws on 13 Ghosts or the 13th Ghost, like ghosts, that is my brain wants to say it correctly. Like, you know, yeah, it's like that's a party movie. You know?
It's great. Like it's sometimes it's nice to have those movies where if you're in a small group and you want to just like have something on that you can kind of focus on from time to time, but
conversation
or like one thing my family likes to do sometimes is like throw a movie on in the background and like play cards or something.
Yeah.
It'd be like it'd fall really nicely into that category of you can enjoy it and catch the moments you want to catch, but kind of you don't really need to pay too much attention.
Like I said, the plot's super basic. It's go to house, bad things in house. You have a red herring or like a subversion, and then everyone dies or survives, and then it ends. That was the one thing we'll mention before we end this, is like at the very end of the movie, it's like a happy ending. They're all leaving. The wife's ghost gets to leave this imprisonment, but all the other 12 or 11 ghosts are like murderous, monstrous.
Yeah, they don't go to hell.
Yeah.
They don't go like
it shows them all like walking away, and the one that's the most prominent is the jackal, who's like probably murdered 1,000 people in his life. Who knows?
An insatiable appetite for the female gender, attacking prostitutes and stray women with the cunning of a wild animal. As a means to cure his insatiable appetite, Ryan committed himself to Borehamwood Asylum. After years of imprisonment in a padded room, he went completely insane, scratching at the wall so violently that his fingernails were torn completely off.
They're all going back to their original homes to murder how many people? Like the beginning of the movie starts and they say the Juggernaut killed like 60 people.
Son of a bitch, you said he only killed 9 people. There's 40 victims here.
9 when he was alive. He's added a few since then. Now where is he?
You capturing him is a really good thing, so that more people
it's
can't
this dangerous
die.
spirit that would murder more people.
Blow up this fucking house, and then all these ghosts are there, and they're like, it's such a weird thing because when you think about it, it's like, what? You know, they're like, oh my god, thank God we survived this ordeal, and then you see all these ghosts leaving.
It's like 11 psychopathic spirits are going to go back to murder or do whatever.
It would be like if you made a movie where you broke like a bunch of murderers out of a prison, but it was to save like one person who was innocent. And then you're like hugging them and then you make
as
out.
The 11 murderers
as they leave to go to the public city where they're going to murder as many people as possible. And then like happy music plays to like the sunrise. And it says like,
it's like we see the family reunion over here.
Yeah.
And then in the background of the family reunion is all the murderers like.
Yeah. Wild.
It's something that's just totally not addressed. No, and like all it would have taken is like them being like swallowed up into hell or something.
At the very end of the movie, it could have just showed all of their spirits. It doesn't even have to make sense. They just all get sent away. Like you see like the mom go up and then all of them go down. Or you could have a scene where they're all still ready to go and kill them. Like it's like a subversion, kind of like the end of Freddy vs. Jason, where it's like they're hugging and embracing, and then you see all these murderous spirits come. And then all of a sudden, like they kind of start shaking and they all get sucked down underground or something like that. Done. The end.
Yeah,
don't need anything more.
But in this case, they're ghosts.
Yeah.
They walk away.
They walk away.
in a line away.
Yeah.
And it's like
it's wild. It's just like it's like they just got approved to be released from prison. They're just like, yep, go on, have fun. I don't care, just as long as you don't torture my family.
Should we deal with something like that? It's like, not our problem anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Fuck this. I'm done. I'm out. I saw my uncle get ripped into a million pieces by some sort of weird spiral engineering madness machine, and then it ends with our black rapper lady trying to be funny. I don't know. And then her song plays and that's it. That was 13 Ghosts. And you're like, all right. Like I once again, it's like what we go into it sounds so fucking stupid, but it is, but it's
like,
fun.
do I ever feel like I need to watch this movie again? Absolutely not.
No.
But I think if you're having like a little Halloween party or you're have people over and you're on Halloween or something and you're like handing out candy and you want to like sit around and have a couple drinks and like have a bit of a party get together vibe.
Yeah.
Great movie to throw on for spooky season if you have people around.
It's a great movie to project at like a party. Like if you have a big wall and you're going to project a movie on there, 13 Ghosts would be great because it's like so many colors, so many interesting things happening on screen, but you don't need any fucking sound, really. You're just like ghosts chasing people, got it, you know? Wonderfully entertaining. Wonderful entertainment horror film. It's almost like I can't even call it a horror film. It's just like entertainment. It's just like that's it. That's all it is. It has the facade of trying to be a horror movie.
Dark and gory entertainment.
Yeah. It's not even a slasher film because only like 3 people really get killed in it. So
we didn't mention one thing that I think should be mentioned because I will forever think of this movie.
Yeah.
Because of the lawyer who gets
sliced
vivisected.
in half.
Yeah.
That is an
iconic thing.
Such an excellent kill. And one of the best slice and halves I've ever seen. You know?
The effect was very well done.
It was very well done. And it was just like, when it was over, I was like, that was outstanding. Yeah, so really good shit. And once again, just going back to Stan Winston's team, like really wonderful guys to get them. Probably like if you didn't have people that were as passionate and trying to make the best looking, most creative ghosts and everything like that, I don't think this movie would hold up as much because that personality would be gone from it. But because you had this director who was trying to like, maybe he had something to prove. You never know, right? Just wanted to really showcase a really crazy stylistic movie, sell it as much as possible. A movie that pops out in trailer. Like even to this day, if I saw a trailer for this, it'd probably get me in the theater. You know what I mean? Just because it would look so wild.
I think it's something about human psychology that's still true today, even as it was back then. How stark this image is. Like
poster.
I think that with modern day, it's about images and video in the same context would be like thumbnails nowadays.
Yeah, exactly.
And anyone who does YouTube professionally will tell you a big part of the battle is a thumbnail that draws people in.
Towards.
And this is one of those things where like a poster, an image that
looks like that.
Take my money. Like as much as it's a mediocre film in a lot of ways, it's like that is going to draw people in and get butts and seats.
It's curiosity as well because it's like a collage, so it's made up of shots from the movie itself. So you actually get drawn closer to it to look and see the shots of it. It's a genius, brilliant marketing on the movie. If the whole movie was made just to make money, round of applause because they did. This movie was financially successful. So seriously, hats off to them for making a very entertaining, fun movie. If he went to go get scared, failed. But at 2001, maybe not. Maybe people were, as a kid, we were scared.
I was 10 years old and I was shitting my pants. So
really well marketed movie, really entertaining movie. Definitely a fun one to watch for spooky season, and definitely a great one to put on the background if you're doing whatever the fuck. So go out, give Scream Factory your money. Go buy this for $30 like I did. So. That's it, guys. Happy October 13th, Friday the 13th.
Have a ghoulish good time this month.
Good time. And tune in next time for another Mr. Productions presents 13 Days of Halloween. Spooktacular. Fuck off. All right. Thank you.
Done.